Today I'm going to be talking about my experiences, I guess, over the last 2 years. There might be a little bit of lessons learned toward the end, but really it's about kind of our journey starting in Toronto, going down to the Valley, and coming back here, and maybe there's something that you guys can get from that. But yeah, to Valley or not to Valley. I made this like at 1 a.m. last night, so don't judge it too much. Who am I? I'm Cobi Druxerman, co-founder, CMO of Taplytics. Went to Queens, went to Rotman, started a rental listing website back in 2008. That didn't go anywhere. Started a grilled cheese restaurant. There's a couple locations in Toronto, one at Yonge and Eglinton, one at Scarborough Town Centre. That as well didn't really go anywhere, but I had a lot of fun with it. And I'm currently working on Taplytics. And what is Taplytics? It is a mobile optimization company. So for native mobile apps, we really optimize any part of the native experience. So whether that is the experience of it, like internal to the app, the code, push notifications, whatever it may be, you can essentially create tests without having to push any code, without having to push an app store update, and do that on the fly and get really custom analytics for it. Now, some of our experience, we spent time at Mars, Jolt. We then spent time at CDL, and then we got into YC, and now we're alum of Winter 2014. So we like to say that we collected accelerators for a period of time. And then we're seed funded. We raised about $2.5 million of seed. So the start of our journey, as with most companies, we worked out of a basement, just 4 of us in our co-founder's parents' basement, actually. Just 4 of us working around desks, and we moved to another co-founder's apartment. Eventually, we got accepted into Jolt. We spent, I think it was like 6 months in Jolt, and kind of bummed around space there. Then while we were at Jolt, kind of then spent some time at the CDL, bumming around space at Rotman as well. Part of that process, always just trying to find more private space, more private stuff that we could work with. And in that whole process, we then got accepted into Y Combinator. So we moved down to YC. We spent the 3 months at part of that process. When we're asking questions, you guys can ask about that if you want, or you can ask about the back and forth. But after YC, we essentially decided to move to San Francisco. We personally made that decision, said we thought that, it was for us. We thought that was the place for us to be after spending 3 months there, and we made the move down. We made it for 3 reasons. One, we thought the network was going to be huge. San Francisco has a big density of startups, so we thought it was going to be great for serendipitous meetings. It was going to be amazing for being a part of the conversation of our business. All of our competitors were in San Francisco or the Valley, so if we figured if we were going to be in Toronto, we were not going to be part of that conversation. So it was very important for us to be in SF. We also thought that at the time when we were building this, that we were going to be kind of like a bottom-up business. So we're a SaaS business, but we thought we were going to target mainly startups, and it was going to build from the bottom up, and that meant that if we wanted to be part of that, we had to be in San Francisco, because that's where all the mobile apps are being made, or so we thought. And so that was super important to us. So we were going to be right where the market was happening. And number 3, everyone tells you that the best tech talent is in San Francisco or the Valley, so we wanted to be there for the action. And so all of these things came together, and for us, we're like, yes, this is the place that we needed to be. We decided that we were going to move down. We moved all of our spouses down, 4 founders. 2 of us had wives, 2 of us had like long-term girlfriends. We moved everyone down actually about 2 years ago, and we all started a life down there. And 2 years later, coming to today, we actually decided to move the majority of our business back. I actually just moved back a week ago Sunday, and I actually just today got a confirmation from my girlfriend that I got an apartment. So part of this conversation is going to be what that was about. So why we moved back, you can see a couple of things here are very similar to that reasons of why we moved down, but market number 1, we were wrong. We were essentially targeting enterprise. And 90% of our business was actually central or east. So being on the West Coast actually meant that I was serving our support customers at 6 a.m. and I knew that my developers were not going to be up to service those people for another 4 hours. So that was very frustrating, and moving tech and support back to Toronto has given us like a huge leg up, even though we've only been back for like a couple weeks. Talent. There may be a lot of talent in the Valley, but at least in Toronto, oh Jesus, I don't have not enough time for this. In Toronto, essentially Waterloo, U of T, Queens combined are like a huge talent hub. Talent, the equivalent person in Toronto makes like 100K Canadian. That same person probably makes 150,000 US. So if that's an engineer, you also get shred back, so that's less than 50% of the cost, and you also have to pay benefits. That's huge. Cost of living, like I said, I moved back. My apartment in SF was around the median price. It was about 3,800 US. I just got an apartment today. It's 1,900 Canadian. So the amount that a founder has to pay for just their own cost of living, the amount they have to pay themselves is significantly less. And I don't know if you even want to get the lessons learned, but you shouldn't feel like being in the Valley will make or break your business, but you should make a decision that is right for you. It still may be right for you to be in the Valley, but hey, if your business is mainly here or mainly in New York or mainly in London, be where your business should be. That's, I guess, number two. You should build your network everywhere. When we were down in the Valley, you become way too complacent. So I didn't actually meet with most of the people in the Valley. Now that I'm back or traveling, I spend way more, when you visit places, you spend way more time actually visiting with the people that are gonna help your business. So just try to leverage that everywhere you go. And I'm actually pleasantly surprised at how amazing the tech ecosystem in Toronto has gotten in the last 2 years. Seeing my friends who have built their business over the last 2 years and how far they've come is amazing. Just being able to connect with them over the last week has been huge. And this event was not here when I left 2 years ago. It's amazing. Yeah, I'm happy to answer anything. What did I love the most about being in San Francisco? Oh, I love the winter, and I love real weather, so I actually hated that about San Francisco. Weather sucks in San Francisco. What did I really love? It's a beautiful city, and it has great food, and everything's really tight. I love to walk. I hate transit. So we lived in Nob Hill, and being so tight and close to everything, and being able to see the water and being able to walk around and go to markets and close things, that was amazing. I will miss that. I actually hate the TTC, and I'm hoping that I can walk to work from where I'm from. I hate transit. I love to walk everywhere, so I miss that. Nothing to, yeah, I mean. Last question, sorry. What's the key takeaway from YC? The question is, what was the key takeaway from YC? And this was actually very important to us. The key takeaway from YC is that you should focus on one thing that is most important to your business at all times. So for YC, it's all about growing your business week over week. If you're growing less than 4%, you're dying. If you're growing at least 7%, you're okay. If you're growing 10 or more percent every week on one most important metric, that is great. So we found that most things that you do, most places that you go, most people that you talk to confuse you. They tell you to focus on things that aren't important. Definitely a lot of the other accelerators out there don't necessarily view the key things, that major piece as being important. They try to do curriculum and all that. So for us, the most important thing right now is growing revenue, and that's all we focus on. If at the earliest stages you're not building revenue, it should be something that de-risks your business. So if it is this one piece of traction that says, if I'm able to grow this thing week over week, and next week I am able to grow it even more, it means that my business is less risky than it was the previous week. That is the only thing you should be focusing on. That was the key takeaway for us.